Welcome. Today we're going to talk about time management skills. I get this question all the time. How do I manage my precious time so that I can actually meet a partner, but I can also manage my work, my hobbies, my family, my friends, my health, going to the gym. I want to be the guy who goes to the gym, on and on and on. I work with high achieving, ambitious, successful women who are busy. We don't have any time to waste. We want to find a partner ASAP, build this beautiful relationship, eventually start a family. All of this feels really urgent. And yet, in the short term, it can feel incredibly difficult to carve out the time to date or even just the mental energy to think about what you really want and need in a partner. Today, I thought it would be helpful if I share with you the steps that I have taken in my own life to create more space and time to meet husband material men, as well as to give myself the rest and uh, relaxation that I need to be in a positive mood, which ultimately is really what attracts men. Men are attracted to you because of how they feel when they are with you. Many of us, we have busy jobs, we've got stress at work, we've got our boss asking us for this presentation, or we've got a meeting that went badly, or you've got a client who's not happy. And it's very easy to let all of the stress infiltrate our precious feminine energy and make us a bit, "Ah." This energy can be felt by men when they are meeting us for the first time. It can lead men to think, oh, you intimidate me. Translation, I don't feel good in your energy. So, what we want to do is learn the time management skills that will enable us to feel our optimum selves, relaxed, easygoing, carefree, feminine, warm, loving. The more that we can feel these emotions, the more that we can make men feel that way when they're in our presence. And the more that they feel good and safe and comfortable when they're around us, the more they want to commit because they want more of that wonderful feeling of being loved and accepted that they feel when they're with us. My name is Malaika Neri. I'm a professional Indian matchmaker. I help you meet the kind of man you can imagine marrying so that you can start a serious relationship leading to marriage and family. Let's dive in. The first time management skill that I have implemented this past year in particular is no phone calls. I do not do any phone calls, not with my parents, not with my friends, not with colleagues, not with anyone I'm working with. I do zero phone calls. This is a radical step for me because in 2023, I ran my business entirely on doing calls. And for the majority of the past 5 years, I have interviewed potential clients and done all of my sales on a live call. But two things were happening. One, I'm an extrovert. I get most of my energy from being in groups of people. So long one on one conversations, especially on such an emotional topic as dating, while important for my business, for what I do as a matchmaker, was incredibly draining for me. I ended the day exhausted. I barely had enough energy to get myself to bed and read a book. I definitely didn't have enough energy to go out and meet new people. So I told myself, I'm going to learn how to run my business without needing to sell on a sales call. And lo and behold, I'm making the same money and more. The second thing that I did is I stopped doing end calls in my personal life. In the past, I used to do calls with friends pretty regularly, at least once or twice a week. I'd get on the phone with an old friend, many of whom live in different countries, different time zones around the world. And we'd start chatting from 8 p.m. off into 11, 12, 1, 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. I'd have the phone with me in my bed and we'd be chatting, catching up. It was wonderful. The hours kept ticking by. I would tell myself, this is a one time phone call. I'm catching up with my own friend. It's special. But when I look back at my calendar, I realized it was a frequent occurrence. These phone calls derailed my day and they derailed my energy levels. I realized that while these old friends are incredibly important, they're not as important as me sleeping at the same time every night. They're not more important than my rest and well being. So I completely stopped these phone calls and I stay in touch with these friends through text and voice notes. And guess what? We still share the same amount of information with each other. They still care for me. I still care for them. Our relationship hasn't actually suffered, surprisingly. I stopped doing phone calls with my parents. My parents pretty much have always lived in a different time zone from where I live. And I thought, as a dutiful Indian daughter, I need to call my parents and check in. They even wanted me to do this. They were pretty upset when I stopped doing phone calls. But I realized that because of the timings that worked for both of us, it would either get me too riled up, I would get too energetic and couldn't wind down enough to sleep, or we'd start talking about a complicated topic. If there was any disagreement at all or any discord, again, I wouldn't be able to fall asleep. Or they would want to make plans for the things that we're going to do together. So I would get into my masculine planning, organizing energy. Again, I couldn't wind down to get to bed. So it was very difficult to coordinate my desire to chat with my parents, be on a live call with them, my work schedule, my needs for rest and relaxation. So I did an experiment. I stopped doing phone calls with my parents. And I increased the amount of time that I spent with them by actively planning it out at the start of the year. So this is a key point. It's not that I stopped having a relationship with my parents, not at all. I planned more physical time with them in person, got it on the calendar, tickets booked, dates set, commitment made, so that they knew that we were going to see each other no matter what. And I did this before I did this no phone calls experiment. The result was that I got more rest, but our relationship did not suffer at all. I think our relationship probably got better because we spent more time together and I got to know them as they are. Very often, when we have a relationship with someone that's entirely phone based, where we don't spend any time with each other, we chat, we get to know each other as the image we want to share on the phone, but we don't get to know that person as they are today, the age they are today, the stage of life they're in. This was happening with my old friends, it was happening with my parents. I began to focus, particularly with my family members, on spending time together in person, doing activities like going to restaurants, going to the beach, or maybe just doing a puzzle together at home on the kitchen table. And this taught me that I could put myself and my self care first, at least for this phase of life, and I could take the decisions that would support my self care being my top priority and not worry so much about everything else. In fact, everything else, like my relationships with my parents and my friends, was absolutely fine. Time management skill number 4. I stopped working with people who weren't nice. Because of doing matchmaking, I meet lots of different kinds of people from all over the world. People reach out to me every single day, morning to evening, wanting my help with finding the right person. And some of those people weren't very nice. I saw it as my duty to help them. When we don't have the love and emotional support of a partner, it can make us women a little tough and a little bit mean. I'd seen this happen a lot in the past. And as I grew more mature in my work as a matchmaker, I thought, well, I've gotten better at dealing with this. I know I can help these women. However, working with these women who were very mean on our calls or just very tough, unwilling to listen, always defensive, it was really draining for me. I genuinely believed I could help them. And I told myself I should help them. However, I realized when I was doing an energy audit of where my energy was leaking, that these people were draining my energy. It didn't make me laugh. It didn't make me feel good. In fact, I felt bad after the phone call. I felt inadequate. And I thought, this is not how I want to feel. I want to feel joy. I want to feel peace. I want to feel harmony. So I simply said, thanks, but no thanks. And guess what? My business continued to grow. It didn't suffer. In fact, I had more energy to give to the clients who are wonderful, who are nice. We laugh together. We have a good time together. We develop a friendship, a relationship based on love and mutual respect. I stopped working with meanies, and you know what? It was a really, really good decision. It saved me a lot of energy, which in turn saved me a lot of the time that I was spending on those people, just interacting with them, feeling inadequate because I felt like I wasn't helping them because they weren't making progress, and recovering from interacting with them. Again, all non-productive time. Time management tip number 5 was that I stopped postponing whatsoever. I think we're actually on number 4. We'll come back to number 5. I stopped postponing anything. I set a time for everything. So if somebody asked me for something, I'd say I can do it on Wednesday at 5 p.m. Or if I assign myself a task, like I'm going to create some content for Instagram, I would say I'm going to do it at 2 o'clock on Tuesday afternoon, right after I get to my office. There was no more postponing. Unless an emergency comes up or something happens out of the ordinary on my calendar, or there's a very important meeting that I have to attend in person, I don't postpone. I get everything done in that minute. I just had to review a contract and I was asking myself, I don't really have time to do this today. I have a really busy day today. But you know what? The minute I got that contract in my inbox, I reviewed it. It took 15 minutes and it was done. And the mental load of that contract also disappeared. This is a tip that I learned from my mentor, Alex Mamosi. He said that the biggest burden to carry is unmade decisions. Everything that we do in life is choices, decisions. The more that we have unmade decisions, the more mental energy they take up, and they end up wasting a lot of time that we don't feel we're able to dedicate with to something else because we're carrying this burden of unmade decisions. Instead, I allocated a time to everything in my life. Mom wants to have a discussion about X. Okay, let's have that discussion. My sister is asking me a question on WhatsApp. Let me allocate time to responding to her message. My client is sending me her ideal partner profile and wants to talk about it. Okay, let me allocate time to review her IPP. Everything got scheduled and everything got done in the time that was allotted. If it didn't get done in that time and was genuinely important, I rescheduled it or I just deleted it from my calendar. And you know what? No harm done. So far, so good. Number 5, I think this is, I don't know which we're on. I have my list, but I'm totally confused. Anyway, coming back to the list, I stopped negotiating completely. Now, I'm in India at the moment of recording this video. In India, people like, or rather love negotiation. They crave negotiation. They wait for you to negotiate the price. It's very much a part of the social fabric of society. But I don't have time to haggle with anyone. If someone tells me a price, I pay it. And very often, people will berate me for paying the price. This can happen with something small, like paying for a box of fruit, or it can happen with something big, like paying for something that costs a few $1,000s. I made a decision for myself. I said, it's just money, and I can always make more money, but I will never get back my time. So if someone gives me a price and I think I can afford this and the value that this is giving me is greater than that price, then I pay for it. I don't worry if I'm getting the right price or a fair price or the best price. I stop negotiating whatsoever. And this saves me minutes and minutes every day, but hours in the long term. It saved me a lot of mental energy from worrying about whether I got the best price and allowed me to focus that time and energy on how I can make more money to spend in the future. Win-win all around. Final time management skill I want to share with you is that I stopped staying out late and I stopped going out after 7 p.m. in the evening. So, the beginning of this year, I had set my goal of meeting husband material men. I was going out 3 or 4 times a week, every week, coming home at about 11:30 p.m., sometimes 12 a.m., sometimes 12:30 a.m. Then it would take me between an hour to 2 hours to wind down. My way of winding down, watching cat reels on Instagram. Naturally, the blue light wound me up even more. Watching these animated animals wound me up even more. I couldn't fall asleep until 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning. It was insane. And at the end of the month of January, I had gone completely crazy. I had a meltdown in front of my friend, and I said, I'm fed up of not sleeping. But when I looked at my January dating report, I was like, actually, whose fault is it that I didn't sleep? It's my fault for going out late. I'm not a late night person. I grew up in a family where everyone loves staying up late and doesn't want to do anything in the morning. So it took me a long time to realize, hey, I'm a morning person. I'm happiest doing stuff at 6 o'clock in the morning. So I restructured my life to begin as early as possible in the morning and to slowly wind down as the day closes. So At the moment I wake up, I go right away to the gym, exhaust my body. This calms my brain down. And then I come to my office, I get my work done. And here in India, the sun sets pretty early. Even in the summer months, the sun is sets at 6 to 7 in the evening. I go home, and once I get home, I don't do any work or any task of any kind. I don't do laundry, I don't tidy. I just do the bare minimum that I need to do to get into bed and go to sleep. I make my breakfast smoothie for the next morning, put it in the fridge, jump into bed with a novel. That is it. This alone dramatically improved my sleep to the degree that I got hours back every week and days back every month. It helped me realize that the more that I operated in alignment with my own circadian rhythms, and I don't really believe that there's such a thing as night people. I believe that we are all function best when we operate with the sun. The more that I did this, the more it gave me energy, positive momentum, feeling light and fresh and free. And that gave me more confidence. And that confidence manifested as more husband material men wanting to talk to me. Such a simple thing, rise and set with the sun. But we forget it. I had to learn this really hard lesson for myself. And I also had to let go of the scarcity mindset that was telling me you have to go out at night if you want to meet more people. Well, there are actually a lot of guys who also don't go out at night. I learned this while listening to a podcast from my mentor, Alex Hormozy. He said he doesn't go out at night at all. He is a classic alpha male, very successful man, very fit, happily married, loves his wife. And I thought, he has all of this and he doesn't go out at night. So why do I need to go out at night? I don't. So I stopped. These are the time management tips that truly changed my life this past year. And I strongly recommend that you try at least one of them as we go into the new year. Time management is the number one skill that my students tell me that they find quite challenging in order to bring a new person into their life. It's not that they lack the desire to bring a new person. They want it more than anything. But creating that white space where someone, a man, can feel comfortable enough to enter your life is essential. And that's a skill we're not taught. We're taught to work very hard. And if you're not working hard, you better go to the gym. And if you're not going to the gym, you better read all these books and get your CPA exam and blah, blah, blah. We're not taught how to chill. I myself had to work very hard to learn how to actively chill. And I have even more ambitious plans for the next year to learn how to chill even better. I hope this video has been helpful for you. If you liked it, enjoyed some of these tips, please like and subscribe. I'd love to hear in the comments which tip was your favorite. I got the numbers a little bit wrong. I'm sorry about that, but I hope you got value from it. My name is Malaika Neri. Please follow my channel so that you can get even more tips about how to bring the right person into your life and achieve this important life goal of building the family you want and deserve. Bye-bye.